Hey, what's going on, guys? So in this video we'll be going over the differences between Sony's PlayStation 4 and Microsoft's Xbox One. So these are kind of the latest and greatest gaming consoles right now. So in this series we're going to be going over a few different things. We're going to start with controllers, also the differences between the consoles themselves, then the user interface, and we're going to conclude with the gaming performance. But this episode we're going to be focusing mostly on the controllers. Alright, so let's start off the controller debate over the design. So as you can see, Xbox seems to be a little bit bigger than the PS4. I think this is mainly because it has a better grip for your hands. Just personally, I like the Xbox controller a little bit more because of that. It seems like it's bigger, but it contours your hand a little bit more when you're gripping onto it. Whereas the PS4s, I think they went for mostly just like slimness over comfort. As far as the buttons go, they basically have the same amount of buttons and the same kind of buttons. The layout is a little bit different on both of them, so let's go ahead and check it out. So on the PS4, we have the X, circle, triangle, and square buttons on the right side, which is basically the same functionality that the Xbox has with the A, B, X, and Y buttons on the right side as well. On the top of them, we have, on the Xbox, we have the right bumper and right trigger, and on the left side, left bumper, left trigger. Whereas the PS4, pretty much same thing. We have R1 and R2, and then also L1 and L2 on the left side. Both controllers do have a D-pad. As you can see on the Xbox, it's lowered than on the PS4. The PS4 chooses having the thumbsticks basically even with each other, whereas the Xbox One controller has them kind of in funky spots here. So as you can see, good for that hand, but when you switch it over to your right hand, you have to go down a little ways to get it, which is fine. You get used to both, and that's not that big of a deal. Both the Xbox One controller and the DualShock 4 controller both have menu buttons right here. Well, on the Xbox it's right here, so we have kind of like a start button to pause games and things like that, and also sort of an options button, which has different functionality based on where you are in the console. PS4 opts for an options button, which is different from their start button on the PS3 and before. There's also a share button, which has its own functionality on the PS4, where you can share clips, screenshots, things like that. Both controllers, of course, have their own console button, I guess you could say it. The Xbox One button's right up here. You can power on and off your console doing this. PS4 has a similar button. This is the PS button, turns on and off the console. Nothing too special there. Xbox One, the button lights up, and that's the only button on this controller. And then on the PS4 controller, the LED on the back shines when it's turned on. A couple advantages that the PS4 controller has over the Xbox One controller. First of all, there is a speaker built into it. As you can see right above the PS button, there's a speaker right there. This isn't used very much in games, but the developers definitely have opportunities to use that, and a lot of them do, but it's not that key of a feature on the controller. Same with the trackpad here on the top. I thought it was going to be a lot more used in the PS4, but it turns out it doesn't do a whole lot. Basically just because the developers just don't really care about it. Well, that's what it seems, at least. Some of the indie title games do take advantage of both of these when the developer is only developing for the PS4. But if it's a game that's being developed for Xbox One, maybe even PC, and also the PS4, typically they don't use those things because the Xbox One and other consoles don't have that trackpad or the speaker built in. Now let's go ahead and talk about the thumbsticks a little bit. Thumbsticks on the Xbox One, I think, are better than the PS4's. So as you can see here, kind of has a concave design. You put your finger in there and it's really grippy and doesn't show any wear and tear over time. Whereas the PS4, it's kind of like a rubbery, soft plastic feel, but the problem is it definitely wears down over time, to the point where the rubber can just fall right off, and you might as well just get a new controller because it's just going to bug the crap out of you every time you use that thumbstick. Now let's talk about one of the things that still kind of baffles my mind. Is right on the back of the Xbox One controller there is a battery pack, where as opposed to the PS4, rechargeable batteries are built in. So The controllers do come standard with non-rechargeable AA batteries in the back. You can buy a rechargeable battery pack for about $25 if you want the official kind from Microsoft, built specifically for the Xbox One. I really don't get why Microsoft didn't just build in the battery packs right away. I mean, their competitor does it, and they've been doing that since the Xbox 360 and PS3 debate, so I'm not sure why they still haven't built in the batteries, but hopefully in the next console they smarten up and do that. Now let's go ahead and talk about the different lights and connections on both the controllers. So we'll go and start out with the Xbox One controller. Connecting it, if you have rechargeable batteries inside, you can connect it and charge the batteries through a micro USB port. If you don't have rechargeable batteries, you can just connect it to your Xbox and play as if it were a wired controller. PS4 has something similar, has a micro USB port right on the back here as well. You can charge it and also connect it and use it as a wired controller if you really want. Both micro USB ports are also able to sync the controller with the console. The Xbox One does have an advantage here if you're going and playing a game at your friend's house and they have an Xbox One as well. Bring your controller, you press this sync button right up on the top here, press the same sync button on the side of the Xbox One, and they'll wirelessly sync, which is nice if you don't have a cable handy and you just want to start playing. PS4, you're just going to have to connect it, press the PS button a couple times, and it should pair, and you should be good to go. As far as lights go, the Xbox One controller lights up as you can see right here. That's the only light that shows that it's on. DualShock 4 controller, this light in the back changes color. For example, if you're playing a game like FIFA and you have 4 people or even 2 people, it'll light up a different color based on which player you are. So if you're first player, it'll light up red, second player green, third player blue, fourth player I think it's yellow, which is really nice. So if you don't know which controller is yours and you come back to a game of FIFA, just look at the color and find out what color you were, and then you can continue on. On the bottom of both controllers, you'll find proprietary accessory ports. For the Xbox One, you can plug in headset adapters, keypads, and actual headsets, so that's great. On the bottom of the PS4 controller, you can plug in pretty much the same thing, but you'll also have a 3.5mm auxiliary port, so if you want to just directly plug in a microphone and headphone, you can do that. Whereas on the Xbox One, you will need to buy an adapter if you want to connect just any old headphones with 3.5mm headphone jack. I figured I would talk about the vibration features since the Xbox One has kind of a new implementation of the vibrations. So if we go over the PS4, just the standard vibrations within down here on the hand grip, so you really feel it in your hand, I guess in the palm of your hand. But Xbox One, the vibration motors are actually in the left and right triggers, so it's actually really nice for if you're playing like a first-person shooter or a racing game where you press the throttle on the right side and you actually feel the vibration of like the tires spinning or things like that. And also on the left side, if you're playing another racing game and you're braking, feel the vibration in the left trigger. So that's pretty cool. And also first-person shooters, you shoot your gun with the right one, you feel that vibration right on the trigger. So that's pretty cool. Before I talk about my final thoughts, let's go ahead and go over pricing. Both start at about $59.99 US, and they do come in different varieties of colors. Xbox One controller has a lot of different camouflage colors, and then PS4 has a bunch of different colors and also camouflage colors as well, so that's really cool. So for my overall thoughts, I think the Xbox controller is a lot more comfortable with its kind of contoured design for when you're gripping the controller. PS4 has built-in rechargeable batteries, which is nice, so you don't have to buy batteries. I think the Xbox One's feature where you can wirelessly sync a controller to a new console is a really nice touch. I don't know why the PS4 hasn't done that quite yet, but it is nice when I take my controller to a friend's house and I can just press the buttons to sync them with his console, and they sync right away, and then we can start playing. I think Microsoft's move of moving the vibration motors to the trigger buttons is a really good thing. It really makes the games feel a lot more immersed, that like you can feel the gun shooting or you can feel the acceleration of a car. That's kind of cool. But I do like the PS4's LED light. It has more functionality, so you know which player's which. And also different things like in Grand Theft Auto, if there's a police on you, it blinks red and blue, which is kind of cool. Anyways guys, that's it for this video. If you have any questions, leave them in the comment section down below. But thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.